you guys doing today? My name is Anima, and today we have a post-commentated Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle for you all, this time against Glen within the NU tier. This one was a big bloody doozy. I actually recorded this live, but I had to do it post afterwards because it was just so long and you're gonna need to get really comfortable for this game. It was a very, very close battle. Definitely came down to the wire, and everybody was useful in everybody's teams to an extent. So you can see the team I've been using in NU for a while now. It's bloody dark in here, and I don't know why. So we've got the Focus Sash Primate, we have my Electivire, we've got Metang, Mismagius, the Pointless Scyther, which we're just going to... which I did all these battles in one day, okay? Alright, so I'm just gonna use the same team. For the love of God, I need to change this Scyther, it's terrible. And my specially defensive Togetic Benedict, who's like the only one who I even name, I'm sorry guys. And Glen is bringing a very threatening team. Actually, X-Cloud is RU, but he probably just didn't know that, and I didn't mind anyway, it's only one Pokemon. And yeah, all this stuff is occurring, and this is very, very terrible indeed. Definitely the powerhouses of NU, I guess with the exception of Camerupt, which I think is PU, but Camerupt is still a fucking beast, and I think you're awfully naive if you don't recognize that. So anyway, without further ado, let's hit play, and you're gonna see what I saw, ladies and gentlemen. So he is issuing that challenge, rocking that wonderful outfit, and yeah, we're just gonna lead with our Achilles, the universal lead for this team, as I've said so many times, and he's gonna lead with Clap Clap, the pain in my anus. That's what it actually says in the Pokedex, just says pain in my anus specifically. So we're gonna go for the U-turn, get the hell out of there, and bluff the same kind of moveset with the Scarf situation anyway, and there's nothing for us here, so we're gonna U-turn into Benedict, who I believe can just take this thing on fairly well. We do have the Heal Bell, we're okay if it wants the status, but he goes for the Trick Room and I promptly shit my pants. So this was awkward as well, and goes into her Camel Toe, which is even more awkward, so I'm dealing with this guy's Camel Toe and I've shit my pants and all kinds of awful things, but I do predict the outswitch at the Trick Room, so went for the Baton Pass, and this is really bad because I've switched out of my special wall, but I went into Tiger because I was trying to bait him to go for an Earth Power so I could safely switch back into Benedict. And that is precisely what occurs, so the Earth Power does come and does not affect Benedict. And now this bit is sped up indeed, as we're going to go for Dazzling Gleams. It's going to do bugger all damage, but that's not the point. We're just trying to get some damage off, and Benedict is the only one who can contest this thing one-on-one. So we're just going to keep going for those Dazzling Gleams. I'm not sure if I can have Moonblast or not. Either way, I just have Dazzling Gleam on this thing. I could have Tri-Attack, but I'm just a bloody rebel, to be honest. Yeah, so we're going to go for the Roost, and we're going to just keep on, you know, we're just going to keep sitting here. Actually, even with the Trick Room in place, we speed tie with each other, regardless of whether or not the Trick Room is anywhere near the situation. So we're just going to keep going for this. The Ancient Power is going to be super effective sometimes and not effective other times, because I keep roosting and losing my flying typing. So he could have potentially played around with Earth Power, but it simply would not have done enough. I would have been able to stall him out and do more damage to him, ultimately over time. And he sees this, so he goes into your mum. And I don't know why you're bringing your mum into a battle. I just think there's a place for mums and there's a place for Pokemon, but I know I can take one Boom Burst, so I do go for the Baton Pass, and I go into Achilles and scare the hell out of this thing with the potential close combat, so that's awesome. And like before, he's going to switch into the Dusclops, which is going to wall me to hell, so we're going to get that U-turn. Repeating basically what happened at the start of this fight, and we're going to go back into Benedict. Yeah, you can see why I didn't do this live. So we're gonna get the Roost off, and it's gonna go for the Nightshade, and ultimately I'm just trying to actually just think. Okay, I'm not trying to stall for the sake of stalling. At this point I'm just trying to think, like, what can I do to break you? So I do switch out into Sketch, knowing that she doesn't really mind getting burnt or Nightshaded. I mean, the Nightshade isn't cool, but like, it's, you know, she can take it. She can take at least 2, so that's not bad. He's going to go for the Trick Room, which hurts my bum, and I do predict him switching out into his mum. Or my mum, is it my mum? So I do go for the Dark Pulse instead of the Shadow Ball. Obviously X-Cloud would be immune now. Now it's faster than me into the Trick Room. It's going to go for that scrappy Choice Specs Boom Boost. Oh my god, so many painful things! And I go into Jupy in response to this. And even with the Resistance and the Eviolite, it still does almost half, so it's like bananas. But he goes out into his Ground Ball, which is a little bit mysterious to me because I am a Steel type, but actually my attacking move, my stab attacking move on Jupy is Gyro Ball right now. So I can't even hit this thing because I outspeed it under the Trick Room, so I decide we're just going to get rocks, We're just gonna toxic this thing. We're just gonna do our job at this point. We're just gonna do that right now, and that's all we can do. So GP did a good job indeed, because I needed those rocks up because I wanted to punish these friggin' switches that just kept happening. No punishment was going, it was just clean switches, so we definitely need to punish those. If your opponent does that, you need to punish them. You do. So I go into Tiger, and right now my maneuver here was to scout. I didn't go for sub, which is a usual thing that I would normally do, but I didn't know if I could force the switch or not, so I actually scouted for the Earthquake and went into Mismagius, and even if he switched out into his Wheezing, I would still have a sort of advantage because I'm a special attacker, and I pack the Psychic. So I go for that Psychic, and this Wheezing barely holds on, and he knows that, so he makes a great play and goes for the Pain Split. So that was a very superb understanding of his Pokemon there. He knew it could take at least the one, and yeah, so he manages to kind of do a kind of fairly even blow occurs in that situation. And I'm gonna go for the Psychic again, because on the off chance that he just stays in and doesn't do the right play, which is to go into the Dusclops. See how Clap is messing me around? Damn this thing. So it eats up the Psychic predictably, and I go into Benedict to take whatever move, because Benedict is my answer to this thing. These are the two bulky powerhouses of our teams, and I'm going to keep going for the Roost because I am faster than it without the Trick Room being in place, and he's going to go for that Trick Room again. And this is fine. We can just kind of just sit here and sort out the Trick Room, and my plan here is to kind of just keep roosting until we get to a decent amount of health where it's just the burn damage, and then I'm going to Baton Pass the hell out of here. And this is fine because it's going to kill the Trick Room incidentally, so that's okay. So we're getting closer to that end goal. We are getting closer to that end goal as he goes for Pain Split, just wanting to snatch a bit of my HP or possibly predicting the out switch. Either way, it's good for him. So now I've got to that point that I wanted to, so I go for the Baton Pass just in case he switches, and he does switch, and he goes out into his balls. Dude! Your balls, your mum, what is this? Your camel toe? Come on. This is filthy. So we're going to get the Baton Pass off, we're going to Sketch, and she's going to be kind of happy to go for Shadow Balls at this point. This is a very bulky, scary team. The Twisted Dimensions are mercifully going to go back to normal, and we're going to get off this Shadow Ball, and that's going to kill the Wheezing. So we've got this, the Wheezing is broken, and that's kind of nice. But he goes out into your mum again, and I'm like, Mum! Come on now. And I'm going to switch out and go into Benedict, kind of just to fodder him off at this point, because I know that I just needed to maneuver into a situation where, you know, I just needed to get my Mismagius out of there, because once we can just kind of get to a good stage and break the Dusclops, it's not going to be a problem with the X-Cloud and blah blah blah. It'll be okay, I know what I'm doing. So he's going to go out into Clap as I go into my Scyther, and this is really just stupid. This is the stupidest phase of the whole entire battle, so just get comfortable and laugh at me if you want. Lots of pointing going on lately, I'm not really sure what's going on here, some sort of strange dance maneuver. Anyway, so I'm going to go for Silver Wind. It's the worst set ever. Never ever run a special Scyther. Ever in your whole life. I will come to your house and I will laugh at you, and then I'll leave after taking your food. And so we're just gonna keep going for moves in general, and just keep hitting with the Silver Wind and the hidden power of fire because I'm an idiot. And actually my plan here is to keep it trapped with me. I thought, even if I'm not doing much damage to it, it's not really doing much damage to anybody else. So what we're able to do is we're able to whittle this thing down to a decent point. And enough to scare it with my Sketchenstein. So he's going to go for the Nightshade, and we're also stalling out the Trick Room in the process, which is very nice. And we do take the one, go for the Dark Pulse. It's not enough to kill, but thankfully those dimensions go away, and we're fine to be locked into Dark Pulse and take out Clap also, which is very, very cool indeed. But out comes Blaziken, Dash Runner, Blaziken, and we're going to be able to go for the Dark Pulse this time. Why is it so dark? Oh my god, this pulse is so dark. But he sets up this perfect situation for himself. He's able to... He knows that he can take a Dark Pulse, so he just goes straight for the Swords Dance, gets his Citrus Berry, and he's unburdened and at +2, and he's a big, huge, massive threat right now. But the item I keep talking about with its Primeape is going to come in handy. He goes for the Leaf Blade, and I live with the 1 HP thanks to the Focus Sash. And we are able to go for the close combat and take this thing out with a critical hit, no less. Not sure if that mattered or not, I'm sorry if it did. But we are able to take it out regardless, and out comes the Camel Toe again, and I'm going to punch this thing in the face. It doesn't really sound like a very feminist thing to do, but it's just going to happen, I'm sorry. So down it goes. and with another crit because Achilles is fucking angry, having been kept in the back for so long. And out comes Daisy. I'm confused as to why he didn't switch on Daisy in the first place. Maybe he thought he could take a close combat, I'm not really sure. But either way, oh, maybe that's why. That's why, because Intimidate, Defiant, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so we do get the Defiant boost, and I go for the rock side, actually just kind of hoping for the flinch. I could have gone for the EQ, probably for the kill, but I wasn't completely sure. So either way, I do have Electivire in the back, and I know I can take this thing out. Either way, so it's just kind of fine. And I went for the close combat just for the shits and gigs to be able to kill a Grand Ball with a fighting move, because that never happens. And this is the last Pokemon I'm going to defeat my mum in what I can only assume is some strange, sort of, I don't know, like a Star Wars-esque situation happening there, but that is going to be the game. So thank you very much, Glen, for the battle. It was extremely long. This was actually like a 45-minute game. It was so long. It was just so long, and I was going doodala with the commentary. I was just completely all over the place, just like and it was really, really bad. But yes, guys, leave a like if you did enjoy the battle. Check out Glen. His Twitter link will be in the description down below. Yes, the likes and stuff do really help out the channel, so if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave one, but of course you completely don't have to. And yeah, leave a comment as well if you're so inclined, telling me about your life. Answer the QOT duh, which is going to be: what made you start competitive Pokemon battling in the first place? So that's what made you start competitive battling in the first place. If you are not a competitive battler, what makes you interested in watching the battles if you don't participate? And would you like to participate? For me, I started come the advent of X and Y, which is, I'm sure, where a ton of these new people have appeared from, in terms of like new battlers, people who've been battling just within the 6th gen. So I started come X and Y, and for me it was like, I think it was just the overall, like, I'm not really sure what really started it. I don't really know, but I think it was just, I remember being challenged to like a passerby battle. Okay, and I still had my babies. I still had like my campaign little, they were in like 2nd stage. I didn't even have a 3rd stage Pokemon at that point, and I got annihilated by a Blastoise named #Arm Cannons in caps, and a bunch of Pokemon. There was like a Sylveon called Sailor Moon that I remember very distinctly. And yeah, so there was Arm Cannons and Sylveon, and they messed me up. There was a Ferrothorn at one point, and it set up Stealth Rocks, and it did stuff, and I was like, what is this? What is this? What are you doing? This is crazy. I'm just sitting here with my goddamn Frogadier, like, oh no, he's just blowing bubbles in the corner, and I'm like, wow, what is this? And it was like organized slaughter. I felt proud of being able to take down one Pokemon, but it was just a bloodbath, to be honest. And it was just like, it was kind of exhilarating though. And I remember me and my girlfriend, we started watching competitive battles over YouTube, as does everybody, as you're doing right now. And we watched the Peekawoo, we watched Pimp Night. We got really focused on Peekawoo though. So Peekawoo, if you ever watch this, if you ever know that I exist, just know that we learned a lot of stuff from you. But it was all in Chinese to me. It was all completely in Chinese. It was just like, how do they know anything? How do they know it's gonna do that? How did you know it was gonna have coverage for you? How did you know it was gonna do that? It was just like psychic. It was really, really strange. But as with Pokemon, as with a lot of things, it all came in time, and you just have to keep paying attention and blah blah. Anyway, I've gone on about that long enough, but you understand completely what I'm talking about, I'm sure, and I can, if anyone's interested, I'll talk about it some more in a video at some point, I'm sure, just as I'm battling or doing something. But yeah, guys, be sure to answer the question if you would like to, in as much or as little detail as you want. Of course, I'm very interested in what you have to say, as always. Be sure to subscribe as well if you haven't already, because it would be an absolute pleasure to have you on board. But as usual, you don't have to do any of these things. I'm just happy that you're here. And in fact, the most important thing of all is for you guys to take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon, my friends. That was scary. The lights fell down over there. I hate hearing sudden sounds. Oh, I'm all spooked. Bye-bye!